Hey friends, it's time for another Friday Fun Fact, where I'll bring you a neat little package of information that you might not have known before. This week, the spice behind pumpkin spice, what it is, what it's made of, and why it's popular. Pumpkin spice, the food trend tickling everyone's nose these days, is technically called pumpkin pie spice, since it contains the spices you'd put in an average pumpkin pie, these being cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, and allspice in some configuration. So what exactly are these ingredients? Well, cinnamon is tree bark, nutmeg is a seed, ginger is a root, cloves are flower buds, and allspice are berries. Most of these, except for ginger, are dried in some way, and they came to Europe and the Americas due to the spice trade. But these aren't new additions to our diet. Cinnamon started traveling via the Middle East around 4,000 years ago. The particular spice combo that we now call pumpkin spice was quite common and used in a lot of different preparations, not necessarily just sweet things. Spices were a symbol of wealth for quite a while. The travel required to get them, and the fantastical stories concocted about their origins, meant that they were expensive. So expensive, in fact, that England and Spain attempted to get to the West Indies themselves by going around the back of the world. They just ran into the Americas first. That said, by the time American colonists were getting upset about taxation without representation, those spices were available to most people. But to examine why it's called pumpkin spice, we need to look to the origins of pumpkin pie and how it became an American staple. Remember, modern apples aren't native to the Americas. Pumpkins are. While pumpkin pie probably didn't feature at the first Thanksgiving, pumpkins had already traveled to Europe due to the Columbian Exchange in the 15th and 16th centuries. What constituted as pumpkin pie to England contained layers of sliced pumpkin, apples, sugar, and spices between two crusts, not the one-crust pie that we're used to. But by 1796, innovative pie makers had created something new. That year, Amelia Simmons published American Cookery, the first truly American cookbook. Within that collection of recipes lies the pumpkin pie we recognize today. From there, the pumpkin pie format took off, appearing in cookbook after cookbook until it was a cultural mainstay. It became a basic requirement for the Thanksgiving celebration, featured in songs and poems throughout the times, especially after Lincoln made Thanksgiving a national holiday in 1863. Since then, the pumpkin pie, and the spices used, have changed very little, meaning that the smell and taste of pumpkin spice has become irrevocably tied to the season. So even if you don't eat pumpkin pie or celebrate Thanksgiving, the smell of those spices signifies that it's cozy fall time. It's become a cultural memory. Add in the fact that McCormick started selling a pumpkin spice blend in the 1950s, and the 1990s was the beginning of flavored coffees, sprinkle in some marketing, and you're here. An era slightly scented by cinnamon, cloves, ginger, nutmeg, and allspice. I've included my sources below, although I also extensively use the Encyclopedia Britannica, which you can access for free on our e-resources page at laglib.org/e-resources. I specifically used info from these pages. And if you'd like to learn more about the spice trade, get started with these books. They're all in the Mid-Hudson Library System. Finally, if all this talk about spice and pie made you hungry, I've linked 2 recipes for your own pumpkin spice mix and a great video that'll teach you how to make your own pumpkin pie. Like and subscribe for more Friday Fun Facts, and I'll see you next week.